What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're starting out a new week. We'll be taking a look over here at the Bitcoin price chart, which did have some action over the weekend. We'll do our normal stuff, take a look over there at the altcoin market, the Ripple XRP price chart, and a couple of different altcoins. Before we get started, I did post this tweet over here on Saturday night. Working late on a Saturday night. I just added a 17-minute market update video to bcbacker.com. As you know, we're in a new month now. It's August 2nd, so July 31st, as we headed into the monthly candle close, I did add a market update over here to bcbacker.com. So it's a little bit over 17 minutes. It's available to anybody already enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course. Of course, this is available over here on my website. But heading into the weekend, we had quite a few things happen, right? Last week was literally green every single day. We had 10 consecutive days of green price action and green candle closes over here on Bitcoin. One of the things we talked about last week is that there were a lot of retail investors waiting for the price to hit $42,000 before they had the confirmation that they could buy Bitcoin. So we had 10 green days in a row. Price closed at $42,200. Retail investors buy it. Price does pull back, right? It's to be expected. That's just, we don't have to go into it again this week, but it's to be expected that that would happen. The good news is when we look at this, there's not like high volume showing a big massive reversal, right? When you see reversal, usually you're going to see high volume in both directions. So in this example down in here, you can see there's high selling volume followed by high buy volume, which did mark the actual bottom. We can see price did come all the way back over here, but it did not set a new low. After it got down near this area, what happened? Buyers came in every single day, pushing the price all the way back up. There was no mark of massive buy volume happening here at the end, and no mark of massive sell volume completely reversing it either. So it seems more like some type of just pullback rather than some type of massive reversal coming in, like you see down in here, where you see these large volumes really marking where a reversal occurs. Very small volume happening here in this pullback. But one of the things we've been discussing during this whole correction that's been happening here with Bitcoin is comparing it back to this correction we had back in here. And that my opinion, my speculation is that this was wave 2. So we had wave 1 really rising us up off of the C19 lows, the capitulated and sell off that happened back in here, which again, there's your example of extreme volume followed by extreme buy volume. Here, I got to zoom in on that. We can see all the buyers that came in after that big push down right in there. But my opinion has been that this was our first major correction that happened in the crypto market. And during that time, I was making YouTube videos through that entire time. I remember the sentiment. It was very negative, very pessimistic, very much that we were going to go back to the lows that we had seen before, and that Bitcoin would head back to those $4,000 prices all over again, and that this was just a repeat of exactly what had happened back at C19, and that we were going to crumble and fall apart. But this was wave 2, so you have an ABC for wave 2. Big, massive wave 3 coming up in here, and then now we're having our ABC of wave 4. And we've been studying this correction right in here, comparing it to what happened to this correction back in here, the last time we had a major ABC correction in this market. I've talked about that on this YouTube channel, creating videos about that. I've also talked about that over there on my Twitter. Here's a tweet from back on June 25th. This is what we discussed in today's video. In 2017, we had much more violent capitulations followed by aggressive reversals. In 2020 to 2021, they've just been more drawn out. And same goes for the tops, really showing what has been happening in these corrections, and that when we had this correction back in August and September and October, that we had the same structure happening in here with the first fall followed by a 702 Fibonacci retracement back in September, and then in October heading way down, and then just brutality of sideways action in here before going way back up. And that we did the same exact thing over here in April and May with this first pull down in here back to the 702 Fibonacci retracement, and then the brutality of all of this stuff really being drawn out. But how are we doing so far at this point? Now that this price has moved back up, can we take a look at what happened back in here and compare it to what's been happening in here? You know we can. So I've got it overlaid on top right here. Get a better view of what's been happening here. So you can see I've got this exact same correction that we had back in October, September and October overlaid right here on top, and I'll put it right back in there. You can see I stretched it out to make the proportions the same and the timing the same of when this all occurred. And you can see now where we're at compared to that time frame. Obviously, this volatility in here was slightly different, but we can see where we are now at this point if we do continue to follow this same thing. But I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update on how that has progressed for those that have been around for a while and seen us talk about that. That's where that stands at this point. Now, if you caught last Friday's video, I really dived into the XRP price chart, showing the similarities of how this entire bear market and recovery has gone compared to how Bitcoin recovered back in 2015, 16, and 17, and that it's literally identical minus the event that happened with the SEC and how it oversold itself. It extended itself a little bit further than what happened with Bitcoin due to that big event. But then after it reclaimed right back here, it resumed doing exactly what Bitcoin has done during that led into the massive bull run. So still at this point with XRP right in here, it's looking exactly like what recoveries look like in the cryptocurrency market and what we saw happen with Bitcoin back in 2015, 16, and 17, which as you know went from $150 all the way up to $20,000. So if you haven't checked that one out, give that one a look. I talked about that on Friday's video. And so from that, I started taking a look at other aspects of the market. And we can even clearly see the Wyckoff accumulation happening over here on Bitcoin Cash right in here. So I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can and edit it as fast as I can to shorten it out. But you can see how this was identical in accumulation that happened for Bitcoin Cash and that happened for Bitcoin. And that even this phase that we're having right now in Bitcoin Cash is still the same as what happened in Bitcoin. And that this big pull down that we've seen over here in Bitcoin Cash right back into this area right in here is the same thing that happened for Bitcoin back in 2015 and 16. The difference is this took 1 year for Bitcoin. This took 2 years for Bitcoin Cash. And if this proves to be true, that it's following exactly what the normal Wyckoff accumulation throwback looks like, and there's going to be a lot of people kicking and screaming that are still sitting there on the sidelines saying that this market is going to crumble right now. The fact of the matter is, there's still a ton of people here for some reason. They're still here. They're all waiting to deploy their money into the market, and they're all waiting for some big, massive bear market to show up and for them to be able to buy Bitcoin below $10,000 and buy altcoins at, 99% discounts right now. And if this proves to be true, over here on XRP, just like we had back over here in Bitcoin, well, guess what? That opportunity is never going to come. And there's going to be some price point where these people all have to capitulate on that idea. And typically people capitulate on that idea as the retracement levels start to get hit. So as these things start to retrace back up to say the 618 or the 618, the 702 and the 786, this is typically where all those bears eventually capitulate and buy the market back again. So they'll essentially buy a top, let it sell off 62%. They'll wait for it to rise all the way back up 150%, buy it again, and then it will consolidate even longer and they'll lose 40% of their money all over again. So we'll see how things play out, right? But that's how I have my bets placed. I'm a bull on the market. But those are also the same things we saw over here in Ethereum Classic. We can see the very clear Wyckoff accumulation that happened. You see the capitulation that occurred back at the end of 2018. And then we have our automatic rallies, preliminary support test, secondary rallies, and then our big final flush that happened right in here. Our creek. A lot of people commented and said they like that creek. And then our big breakout, right? Now hovering over here near all-time highs. So hard for me to be a bear when the market looks so good. But one of the things we keep talking about is that, I'm speculating for another new all-time high to happen here over in the altcoin market, right? And that the prices are going to go higher. It's going to be our big finish ending wave. And that as the altcoin market's getting into the all-time highs, I'm going to be starting to sell about 65% of my portfolio. I've been in this market for years. This has been the area where I've been looking for things to get to. It's time for me to start taking some profits on the market as we go into the all-time highs and, looking for what type of structure would that have to be to go into those all-time highs. I keep showing this chart over here on the total market cap of all of crypto on how when we look at the rally prior to capitulating and show how we reached out to a perfect 4.236 extension, what does that look like when it breaks out up there and goes higher? And our previous examples of what we've seen happen with Litecoin and XRP in those circumstances in the 2017 bull run, When they got through here, it looked something like this. It's kind of like a test and then just a skyrocket that happened after that. But do we know that to be true, if that's what's going to happen there? No, I have no clue if that's what it's going to look like once it gets up in there, how high it's going to go. But when we look at like the total altcoin market cap right here, comparing it to Bitcoin as Bitcoin's top came in up in here, we can see the similarities of everything that went on in here for Bitcoin. We can see this whole kind of grind up in here, followed by the big fall, and then this consolidation or this finding and rounding out of the bottom that happened in here for the altcoin market and for what happened in Bitcoin. And so where would that put the total altcoin market cap at right now if it was similar to what's happening with Bitcoin? It puts you about right there, presuming that it would continue to do some type of structure like what we saw with Bitcoin. And right now we're just trying to find scenarios of what has happened and what it could look like as it comes into the top, right? Typically, endings of cycles are marked by aggressive parabolic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. So this structure does not show anything like that, right? This shows more of a distribution phase followed by a big deep correction coming in. And well, if this count over here on Bitcoin is correct, where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, be looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And usually the aggressive endings look something like that, where you see 5 waves within that final wave on parabolic blow off tops, and that's the end before things start really crumbling down. And we could see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That got very aggressive. But otherwise, for the start of the week, we had our weekly candle close yesterday, a nice candle close over here for Bitcoin, the highest close we've had since back in May. So 2 months of price action wiped out right there in the last 2 weeks. Nice monthly candle coming in there for Bitcoin for July. And then when we look at the monthly candles for the total altcoin market cap, there's your big, great bear market of May and June 2021. But otherwise, I'm going to keep this video relatively short and light, tight, and bright. And I just wanted to kind of update us on where we're at as we were looking at this ABC correction from back in September and October of 2020 compared to the potential ABC that we have going on over here in the market. And that while it's been long and grueling to go through this time period, we can see that, hey, you know what? We might just finally be getting near the end. So I hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend as we start off Monday. 10 consecutive days of green, a couple days of red happening right here, but no real volume showing reversal. So we'll just kind of see how the week takes us, and we'll just kind of go with the flow of whatever comes throughout the week. I want to let you know there's a high probability that I'm going to be taking a 3-day weekend next weekend, which would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I wanted to go ahead and tell you that right now before we get near there. I have family coming in from out of town. We're going to be hosting an event here at my house, and several of them will be coming in on Friday morning. So I'm just letting you guys kind of know ahead of time. But otherwise, I hope that you're doing well. The market's looking good. We'll keep rolling with the punches. Like I mentioned, this is my website, bcbacker.com. This is my course where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles. I tie them all together to show how the cryptocurrency market has worked in the past in regards to Bitcoin extensions and altcoin timing of when alt seasons have happened. I talk about my personal exit plans in here. I talk about mathematics and percentages and teach you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro so you can kind of navigate your way through the charting software that is out there. Also, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I did add a market update there on Saturday night for July 31st. Bitcoin pushes back up, altcoin market tags along, strong finish. That's available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course. And you can check this out at bcbacker.com. There is also a link in the description of this video. Otherwise, you can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.